Bob Feller baseball card commemorates greatest opening day performance. In the long history of Major League Baseball, only one no-hitter has been thrown on opening day. And even though it was a big deal when it happened, only one Bob Feller baseball card was produced to commemorate the event following the season. If you're a stickler for definitions, you might argue that 1941 Wheaties Champs of the U.S.A. issue is not a card at all. But you can bet fans and collectors were thrilled to get their hands on any rendition of Rapid Robert, as America revamped our involvement in World War II. Can't hit this terrible stuff. When Bob Feller took the mound against the Chicago White Sox at Old Comiskey Park on April 16, 1940, he was coming off a 24-win season that helped the Cleveland Indians to an 87-67 record and third place in the American League finish in 1939. He was widely considered one of the best pitchers in the game, yet he had just turned 21 the previous November. That spring day, the youngster was still finding his groove for the new season, but so were the White Sox hitters. In his 9 innings, Feller walked 5, struck out 8, and retired 15 straight batters through the middle of the game. Yet it took a diving, knockdown stop of a tapped right liner by Tribe's second baseman Ray Mack to preserve the no-no. Feller would go on to toss 2 more no-hitters in his storied career, and he generally maintained that his stuff was the worst in this first one. In a hostile environment at the head of a promising season, though, Feller's repertoire and heat were more than enough to get by, with a little help from his infield friends. Breakfast of Champs of the U.S.A. In the spring and summer of 1941, the war was raging in Europe, and tensions were rising in the U.S. We were not yet officially involved in the battles, but most Americans felt it was a matter of when we joined the fray, not if. In the meantime, we had baseball to think about, especially the battle between Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio for hitting supremacy. Their exploits captivated a nation as Williams marched towards 400 and DiMaggio threatened to never go hitless again en route to a 56-game hitting streak. Collectors were treated to a few mainstream sets that season, courtesy of Play Ball, Gaudy, and Double Play, the later pairing Feller with Joe Krokoskas. But this was 10 years before Topps busted on the scene, and 3+ decades before highlight cards became a regular part of yearly issues. So hobbyists looking for a mention of Feller's no-no were shut out. Nearly. Wheaties had been around for a couple of decades by 1941, and their association with sports stretched back nearly as far. Kids whose parents could afford the prepared cereal had already come to think of Wheaties as the breakfast of champions. In 1940, General Mills had plastered each Wheatie box back with 3 champs of the USA, profiling great athletes of the era. Each card featured a crude cream, blue, and orange rendition of the player, and Feller took his place among luminaries such as Brian Nelson, Jamie Foxx, and Mabel Vinson, among others. Card backs, which formed the inside of the cereal box, were blank. The series returned with 24 athletes in 1941, and Feller made his second appearance. This time, the block of biotext detailed his opening day no-hitter from 1940, becoming one of the first modern baseball issues to highlight an event from the previous season. Today, you can occasionally find complete Wheatie boxbacks with Feller as part of the 3-player panel with Bernie Bierman and Jesse McLeod. These generally sell for around $100. Less often seen for sale are hand-cut singles of Feller, either just the drawing or the complete drawing plus the bio combination. A high-grade slab Feller for both pieces would likely bring a good deal more than an ungraded 3-player specimen mentioned previously. If you want a vintage, in-the-moment cardboard commemoration of perhaps the greatest opening day performance of all time, though, the 1941 Wheaties Bob Feller baseball card is really the only game in town. Like our video? Then like our video and subscribe to our channel. waxpackgods.com